Hey guys, T2 out here, back again with David. In today's video, we are discussing kind of how prepping has helped over the last 2 to 2.5 years, and where we started, where we're at now, especially for you, and what kind of projects we're doing in the future, kind of what the future holds. For those of y'all that don't know, David's prepping journey kind of began when we built a get-home bag one day. You came over to the house, we talked about it, we discussed it, you had some gear in your truck, but just hadn't put it all together. So that's kind of where it started. And I remember you came over the next week and you said that your wife had mentioned how this was probably going to be like a one weekend thing, one and done. But here it is 2 years later. Woo! 2 years later, we're still doing it. You're still doing it. So kind of talk us through where you started and where you're at now, better position, worse position, and then we'll go through kind of the events that we faced over the last 2.5 years and how it's actually helped you.
Like you said, when I started out, I still had some camping gear laying around. We used to camp a lot back in high school. Majority of my gear had went away. Never really thinking about prepping. Brian started this channel. I was like, hey, yo, that's pretty cool. I'd like to get back into camping. If you ever want to shoot a video together, let me know. I'll start getting my gear back up. And that's when we pretty much got together and realized, hey, you don't have a whole lot. You know, just started with a get-home bag. Because at that point, I was working construction and I was spending my weekends out of town. So I definitely saw an aspect where being prepared would help me in my job. Originally, I had gotten with you and had some gear put away in a tote in the back of my truck that I kept there. Ways to cook, ways to heat up food, food itself to eat while I was out, snacks and stuff like that. And it all kind of came to a real head when I actually had one of those catastrophic moments happen. I was 100 miles away from home. Transmission on my truck went out on the side of the highway. I was at a rest area. I was able to get help coming my direction, but it was going to take them 2 hours to get there. And I was able to literally sit there as like a little hobo and cook my meals and eat and, you know, had stuff to like keep me going. And right then I realized that, hey, this could be more, there could be more to this than what I'm putting into it. I might need to actually evaluate preparedness as a whole. Came on, started shooting videos with Brian, started making my bag, bettering my equipment and moving on through that. And as Brian said, my wife made the comment when we started this that you're only gonna do this for a weekend. You might go once a month, or once a year, I mean, to go out and do an adventure, but all you're really gonna be doing is camping. You're not gonna worry about survivaling. I think I've proven her wrong. My wife's actually gotten behind this 100% now. So she got into the at-home prepping side of it, and all the while I'm still building my equipment. My wife started planning meals and stuff and started buying stuff that has longer shelf life so we could actually store this food in our pantry for longer lengths of time. Started to spill over of, hey, let's make another tote that we can put in our closet filled with like Wise meals and Mountain House and stuff like that, to have even longer shelf life in case something happens, to where now we have bought a generator, we have a whole setup, a light setup that if the power goes out, how we're going to keep the lights on in the house. We have the generator to run the refrigerator and everything. We have water filtration systems, mass water filtration systems. We've kind of gotten more into it.
So it wasn't long after the first couple of videos that we shot that the big C word kind of took over our state. We went in lockdowns. We had a tornado right on top of that, like 2 weeks after that. You were out of power for about 10 days. Yeah. And then just, we had a snowstorm. We've had a bunch of events over the last 2 years that, are you glad you're prepared now?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. And not even that, people in the community around my house have realized that I'm the guy they can come to in these situations, and I might be able to help them out as well. I know a lot of preppers out there aren't big on that, but to me, community is one of the biggest things you can have. And so me being able to have power, and my diabetic neighbor down the road says, hey, my insulin's about to go bad because I can't refrigerate it. Can I bring it to your house? It's a good thing. You're able to help not just yourself. Big one that sticks out to me is during the tornado, when we lost power for 10 days, I was actually able to go to my bag that I had in my truck and grab the GoZero solar panel charger and was able to charge my Wi-Fi hotspot because we was having issues with our phone signal, and was able to use that to get messages out to you guys and to everybody else and let y'all know that we were okay and we were squared away. it just opens a whole new door when you have this equipment, when you have this gear and the knowledge to use it.
The big thing for you at that point in time was a generator. So me, you, and your brother traveled 3 hours almost to go find a generator for them, and then for Kat, who's also been on this channel, now you have your own generator. Yeah. You don't have to rely on me. You don't have to say, hey buddy, can you bring me a generator? You learn the usefulness of it. You have your own. Another big thing that I was really impressed by was your propane cooking, like big pot meals. So you live here, your brother's right next door. I throw a rock and hit his house. Y'all teamed up together, basically pulled out a giant cooker in a pot, had the propane for it, turned it on. Y'all ate.
You ate spaghetti that during a power outage,
yeah,
during a tornado.
Yeah. And
it goes back to what I was saying, just being prepared, having the equipment, and having the community as well to draw together. During the big snowstorm that happened at a large portion of our area, I know Anderson County, Oconee County, all the counties pretty much around here, a lot of people lost power. We were lucky enough that we didn't lose power. But I will say my mentality towards losing power has changed, because I sat on the couch literally every time the lights would flicker and like, that's it, I get to go get my generator, I get to go hook it up. I have an excitement about these things now almost. And it sounds kind of morbid, I guess, and kind of, you know, wrong of me to say, hey, I'm excited for bad things to happen. And I don't want nobody to actually get hurt or nothing, but I like to test my stuff and see where I'm at.
I'm the same way. The one time that I've lost power for a long enough period of time to pull out the generator, I was leaving for work. So I haven't even got to use the generator for my own house yet. I've had it for 3 years now and still ain't been able to use it. Like David, I'm ready for the event. Okay, we got a bad storm coming. Let me pull out the Goal Zero. Let me pull out my lights kit. Let me pull out my generator. Have everything ready before this hits, and that way I know, okay, I need more extension cords, or oh crap, this lights kit ain't gonna work. What's the backup plan? I mean, you got kids, you've got a wife, you've got work, so you're not having to scramble around and go, okay, well, how are they going to eat? How are they going to charge their phones? How are they going to, you know, live if I'm at work or if I'm somewhere else? Because you don't have these things. But now you have them, you're good to go. Looking back, the day that you came to my house, that guy that showed up unprepared versus now, big difference, little difference? Are you glad you made the change?
It made a big difference. It's made a world of difference. Like I said, it's not just, you're not just preparing for yourself. If you don't want to be that crazy neighbor that's, you know, stockpiling guns and beans, you can be the person in the community that says, hey, look, I know you have a sick family member. If we lose power tonight, I got a generator. You can leave it at that. Just let, you know, you don't have to be crazy about it. And you don't have to go out and buy the crazy equipment. Like, you don't have, there's no reason for you to want to buy a tank. You can buy the everyday items that just make sense to have around the house, and give yourself and your family the peace of mind if anything ever happens. They have what they need.
So you work in the church community a lot, and you've also moved your prepping into the church as well. Because I remember me and you talked about it at a kid's birthday party or a wedding or something. And I said, man, dude, you have a congregation of 200 people in here. If everyone brought in a can of food or something, you would stack the pantry sky high. And I think y'all did basically that.
Oh yeah, so our church, actually, me and a few other members of the church that are, they don't want to be the crazy prepper, but they're prepared if anything happens type deal. Came together, and it was actually after the tornado, because we had sent out a few of our church members had went out and started, you know, helping people in the community as much as they could, offering generators that they had, canned goods, food, sandwiches. They even had pizzas that they were handing out, just different stuff in the community to help. So the church saw it as a great opportunity to, yet again, be more like Christ and help our community. And so we opened up a food pantry. And just like he said, in the matter of days after opening this food pantry, we had more food than we knew what to do with. Nobody thinks of a church as being crazy for saying, hey, we want to be able to help people when they come to us.
One person can prep for a household, but you got 100 people bringing you boxes of spaghetti and macaroni, and I've seen this thing, and it is a massive stockpile of food for the community and for the persons in the churches that need it.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a good point. So there was a long point there for a minute where me and my wife actually both were out of work. We were actually able to go to the church, us being, even members in the church and say, hey, look, we need help. And they helped us with that food.
And so if you're a member of a church or a deacon or whatever you want to call yourself, talk to your leader about this, because it might help you. It might help that family that sits on the back row. It might help the people that show up to every event at the church. It might help people that have never walked in the church.
That's the other thing, is we've given food out to people that we have never seen before. They just come to us and say, they might come to a member of the church and say, hey, I've been struggling. I just, I don't know what we're going to eat tonight. And they're able to connect us in with the right people. So,
and you doing it by yourself would be a struggle, but you being able to reach out to 200 people who you see once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, y'all can build up a quick pantry. So if you are a member of a church, hey, there you go. You got anything going on this spring?
One thing that I am currently in the process of getting pretty big into is overlanding. So everybody talks about bugging out and all of that good stuff. We're not really planning on bugging out if anything happens, but we are looking at more of a mobility sense of, if something was to happen here and we need to just get to Brian's, we'd have vehicles set up that we could literally survive out of our vehicle for X amount of time. But we are currently in the process of building a vehicle up to make I'm calling it overland, but because I don't want to call it bug out, because it's not a bug out vehicle. It's a fun vehicle. We're going to use this as a hobby and just as a camping thing, but with the mindset of survival in it as well, for longer periods of time than what I can carry on me. Because I do believe that, you could stage things in proper areas, and a vehicle would be a great item to be able to have a cache of items that you can pull from.
Yep.
Instead of everything out in a building, you can just throw it in the back of your truck, grab it, and if you need it here, you got it. If you need it when you're out in the middle of the woods hunting, you have it. So I got that project going on. Definitely going to be doing more hiking adventures out and about. Big products I'm wanting to purchase. I would love to get, I know we did a video with you with the solar panels, but I would love to get my own at-home solar panel system and just work on some more sustainable sources here.
Yeah, so that's all we've got. Again, welcome David back to the channel. He ain't been in here in a while, and maybe be seeing more of him at least for a week or two, and then he might dip off for another year.
Nah, I'll be hanging around this time for a minute.
So yeah, again, we are planning on another hiking trip at some point in time, and probably, if we do any big projects, whether that's the chicken coop or buy goats or something, you'll see an update from him and us. So yeah, that's all we got.
Later, guys.